just a good day to worship the Lord. Amen. You've done so well, and I want to thank God for all of our men today. Amen. Thank you, Doctor. Why don't all of the men stand today? All of the men.
Today might be the day.
All of the men.
Oh, yes.
Oh yes. Look all up front. I think the men have outnumbered the women.
Again.
Amen. Amen. Y'all can sit down and we so close today. I don't care if you count. Amen. Amen. To our worship leader, Deacon Ware, thank you for moving us along today. Minister Haskins, Reverend Stafford, and thank God for Pastor McDowell, who worships with us today. Amen. As we work together with the Philadelphia movement. Amen. We just thought it was good if all of us come together.
Amen.
If all of us who are Christians and say we're Christians and we ought to be together. Amen.
Amen.
No matter what denomination or what the pigmentation of our skin, we ought to be together.
Amen.
Because we are Christians.
Amen.
Amen. And I didn't pick my subject just because he came today. But just in case anybody want to know, I want to talk about Christian behaviors today. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. There is a verse, there is a passage of scripture in the Romans chapter 12 and verses 17 through 21. There are some interesting words. Listen, I'll be reading from the New King James, and you will find words similar to these. Repay no one evil for evil. Have regard for good things in the sight of all men. If it is possible, as much as depend upon you, live peaceably with all men. Beloved, do not avenge yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord. Therefore, if your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he's thirsty, give him drink. For in so doing, you will heap coals of fire on his head. Do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And for a few moments from that thought, I want to reflect on the thought, Christian behavior. Amen. Our world and our city can use the Christians behaving like the Christ. Believers are called Christians because we patterned our lives and model our lives after Jesus the Christ. There was a man who was driving down the street, and he had a bumper sticker that says, I am a Christian. But there was also a policeman who was a Christian. He stopped the man who had the bumper sticker on his car. And the man who had the bumper sticker said that I'm a Christian. He says, "Why are you stopping me?" He said, "Because you're driving a stolen car." He said, "Well, why are you saying I'm driving a stolen car? Here is my license and my registration." And the police officer said, "Oh, I thought it was a stolen car because I saw on the bumper sticker, I'm a Christian, and when that person cut you off, you let down the window and you cursed them out, you gave them the finger, and you spun off. And so I was just sure that you were in a stolen car because Christians don't act the way you act." I want to ask somebody today, if you were accused of being a Christian, would there be enough evidence to convict you based upon your behavior? See, you can make your mouth say anything. You can put all kinds of pins on your clothes, but that does not make you a Christian. And you know what I'm discovering? The more you follow Jesus, the more you walk with him, you're challenged to see what he sees. Did you hear me? I said, the more you walk with Jesus, you're challenged to see what he sees. When I read the New Testament, I see his disciples following him around. And he always challenged them to reorder their thinking. I was reading the text the other day in John chapter 9 when he passed by and saw a blind man that was blind from his birth. The disciples engaged in conversation and started the blame game. Master, who did sin, this man or his parents? And Jesus says unto them, neither this man nor his parent, that God might be glorified. Amen. We are in the situation that we're in so that God can get the glory. And what better time than right now is for God to get the glory. When the world is full of so much darkness and we are the light, of the world. We ought to be shining light in a whole lot of dark places. Because where Jesus is, there is no night there. And so when I look at this text, we've been dealing with this 12th chapter of Romans for the last few weeks. We looked at our relationship with God and how we relate to God. We relate to God through a surrendered body and a renewed mind. And then we looked at how we relate to ourselves. We relate to ourselves by not thinking more highly of ourselves than we ought to, but we think soberly and sensible and rational about ourselves. In other words, I ought to stay in my lane. I ought not just try to do something because it looks good to me and because somebody else can do it, but I ought to stay in my lane. Yeah. And then last week, or a week before last, we looked at how we relate to relate to others, let love be without hypocrisy. In other words, we ought to be straight up with each other. We ought to deal with each other square. Yeah. And using our gifts in our role. And this week, it's really deals with how I relate to my enemies. And that's why I want to talk about Christian behavior. Does your walk line up with your talk? Are you like the guy who put the bumper sticker on his car driving around, I'm a Christian, and using all the behaviors of the world? Chapter 12 is full of human impossibilities. From the natural aspect. I say chapter 12 is full of human impossibilities through the natural eye. Because if we're looking from the natural eye, I said this morning, from the natural eye, you go back to your factory settings. And you know what your factory settings are? Your factory settings are you simply live by the five senses. You simply live by what I see, what I smell, what I taste, and what I hear. And if that's the level that you're living on, it's impossible. Chapter 12 is impossible for you to live out. Chapter 12 presents practical, normal Christian living. In other words, you should practice and model your life so much after Jesus Christ until it becomes normal.
Yes, sir.
As normal as stomping your feet. You know, when you stomp your feet, you say, Lord have mercy. And not what you normally say. Because you've been practicing it so long until Christianity has become normal. Yeah. You bump your head. You say, God Almighty. I'm talking about the normal, practical, normal Christian living. Watch this now. Spiritual victories comes to the believer through a definite yielding or surrendering of your body to God as a living sacrifice. In other words, if I'm going to live the Christian life, I've got to turn my body over to God. The flesh profiteth nothing, but it's the spirit that makes the flesh behave. Yeah. God wants our bodies, all of it. And this is based upon what God has already done for us. This is our reasonable service. This is the least you can do. Not the fact that I am so gifted that they'll just be glad that they can use my gift. In fact, they'll be just so glad that I showed up. This is your, what text said? This is your reasonable service. And when we yield ourselves to God, body, soul, and spirit in totality. Don't tell me, Reverend, I wasn't here, but my spirit was there. Don't send your spirit without the body, because spirits without bodies are spooky. When we yield ourselves to God, body, soul, and spirit, then and only then can we overcome evil with good. Watch me now. I said when we yield our bodies, soul, and spirit, then and only then can we overcome evil with good. Can we overcome evil with good? In the natural, I told you, in the natural, these are some impossibilities. No wonder this same author, this same writer, no wonder he would say, the weakness of God is stronger than men, and the foolishness of God is wiser than men. I mean, it's foolish if a man smites you on the one cheek, and if you're thinking only in the natural, it's foolish for me to turn the other cheek. You're right. We have a normal, natural tendency to do tit for tat. But it is. If we're going to behave like a Christian, you cannot do tit for tat. And you know what I discovered? I discovered a long time, it's always the person who responds the one get caught. Yes, sir. I used to always, if somebody hit me, I was going to hit them back. You know, when I was a kid, if you hit me, I was just going to hit you back. That was a normal response. But then one of my teachers pulled me aside and said, it takes boy strength not to hit back. Then it doesn't prove that you're strong just because you can hit a person back. Yeah. Because the one who responds is always the one get caught. I think it was it Thursday night or Monday night? I was watching this football game. The guy who started it didn't get kicked out. But it was the guy who responded. Yeah. Because the one on the ground, he had his hand in his helmet too. But his idea is, I'm going to do you worse than you did me. And now he might not ever get to play again. Because he responded not like a believer. Jesus forbids us to do tit for tat. He forbids us to do evil for evil. And I'm not always talking about that which is physical. Because sometimes some of us are so cunning and we're so used to being in church, you know how to get a person back without acting. Sometimes we prompt others to do stuff and to say stuff, and we sit back and say, okay, yeah. Yeah. I'm just talking about believers as Christians. You see, God wants us to do as believing children. Believers are not to be overcome with evil, but overcome evil with good. Overcoming evil with good. I mean, this is not normal that if you do something against me, and I turn around and do you a good deed, that's not normal in the natural. But we got to practice it so until it becomes normal in the spiritual life. Because when we walk with Jesus, you're forced to see what he sees. You're forced to do what he does. That's how come I'm so glad that we work together, Pastor Glenn. Because not all evangelicals think like we think.
All right.
Because there are those who support all of the agenda down in Washington. But they don't see what we see. Because when you walk with Jesus, you have to see the poor. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because he has anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. Jesus saw the widows and orphans. But we can cut Medicaid and cut all kinds of programs that support our children. Yeah, because they don't see what we see. If we walk with Jesus. To be a Christian is to model our lives after his will and his way. And there are some things that we just can't do. Jesus never did tit for tat. In fact about it, when they did him wrong, he put his life in their hands. Because when they came to get him and came to arrest him, he said, "Who are you looking for?" And they said, "We're looking for Jesus of Nazareth." And they fell back as dead men. He said, "No man take my life. But in order for me to die, I got to put my life in your hand." Jesus never did tit for tat. He never did evil for evil. Listen at what he says. Listen at what he said. "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And so he says we are never to be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. There are two behaviors that's mentioned here for our consideration. Yeah. We are never to retaliate. And avenge. They are absolutely forbidden by the followers of Jesus. I said the Christian is never to retaliate. I commended our worship leader today.
Yes, sir.
Because he said a word that set most of y'all off.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And I was sitting there thinking, I said, yeah, they know exactly what you're talking about. And he never responded. But he just kept it moving. Whenever we respond to evil, we double evil. Did y'all hear me? Whenever you respond to evil, you double evil. No wonder we got so much crime in this city. Because evil is being doubled. And you know the reason that I believe it's being doubled is because of social media. We teach folk. You can Google how to make a bomb. And so evil is being doubled because we keep responding. Somebody posts something evil and non-Christian like on Facebook, and you see how many folk respond. All they're doing is doubling down on evil. I know y'all was gonna get quiet, because all you gotta do is just click and you say, I like it. And then the evil person see how many likes they get, and then they carry it out. We are never to retaliate where evil is concerned. The believers are not to react.
Amen. Amen.
But our action must be positive.
Yes, sir.
When you look at the text, he said, don't repay evil for evil.
Yes, sir.
But replace evil with good.
Yes, sir.
Not only are we not to react, but whenever there is a negative, there is also a positive. And in order for light to shine, did you hear me? I said, in order for light to shine, you need both a negative and a positive.
Yes, sir.
And that's for all of the folk who live by thou shalt not. I don't smoke. I don't run around. I don't drink. I don't commit adultery. When you stop doing wrong, it doesn't work until you get busy doing right. You overcome evil with good. And so the believer is to demonstrate good behavior in the sight of all men. I said the believer is to demonstrate good behavior in the sight of all men. When somebody do you good or do you evil, you do them good. Because vengeance belongs to the Lord. Yeah. You don't have to get somebody back. You know how it is when somebody do you wrong, you start spiritualizing and says, I'm going to leave them in the hand of the Lord. In other words, your idea is that I'm too religious to get them back, but I want God to get them back. God is no dog that you can sick him and sit him anywhere you getting ready to go. You can't do God like you can do your dog. Talk about sick him, get him because he done me wrong. Vengeance belongs to the Lord. And you see, my brother and my sisters, somebody may do you wrong. You may not even be around when God gets them back. You don't have to see when God gets them back. And so my brother and my sister, I'm not in a hurry for God to get anybody back. All I know is vengeance belongs to the Lord. And vengeance is in the hand of the Lord. God can get them back when he get ready. And Jesus has already given us a model. He's already given us a model to go by. They whipped him all night long. And he never retaliated. Because I heard the record says, for all you got to do is just act like you're going to get them back, and 5,000 legions of angels will come to your rescue and get them back. But he never said a mumbling word. The came with stones and staves and swords to arrest him. And Jesus said, well, who you looking for? And they said, we're looking for Jesus of Nazareth. And he fell back as a dead, and they fell back as dead men. And then he put himself in human hands, and they put him on a cross, and they crucified him. It looks like he's in our hands, but ultimately we are in his hand, because when he died, my bond was paid, and when he died, my salvation was secure, and when he died, my imprisonment was terminated, and he died, and they took him down off the cross, put him in a borrowed grave, and on the third day, he stepped up on resurrection ground, declared to the world that I got all power in my hand. Tabernacle on the earth, it looks like he was in our hands, but ultimately we are in his hands, and he holds my hand. He walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me that I am his own, and oh, the joy we share, none other have ever known. He already showed us how not to retaliate. Hey, they may knock you down right now, but you don't have to retaliate, because there's a resurrection morning that's on his way. And every time you get knocked down, you ought to get up with more power than you went down with, because he didn't use the word all, but when he got up, I heard him say, I got all power in my hand. Oh, brothers and sisters, every time somebody knock you down, you ought to get up with more power than you went down with. If you don't retaliate, hey, my third grade teacher told me that it takes more power not to retaliate than it does to retaliate. Jesus never retaliated, but when he got up, he had all power in his hand. He released the dynamic atoms from his body, caught the wings of the cloud, went on back to glory, sat down at the right hand of the Father, and the disciples standing there. Master, if we get sick, who gonna make us well? And when we get hungry, who gonna feed us with bread from on heaven? And when we get thirsty, who gonna give us water? But I heard Jesus say, if you believe in me, for out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. I heard him say, bread of heaven, feed me, Jesus, feed me, till I want no more. I said, ain't he all right? And I'm going to send the Holy Ghost. I'm going to send him in my name, and he's going to empower you not to retaliate. He's going to empower you not to respond. He's going to empower you not to react. Hey, I said, ain't he all right? Won't he make a way for you? Won't he hold